Welcome to the Reporting and Dashboard webinar for Service Cloud. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for attending today as you take your next steps in exploring Service Cloud. In this session, we will be talking about how reporting works in Service Cloud and how to create custom reports and dashboards to pull the insights you need for your business. Keep in mind, this webinar will also be recorded and available for you to review after our session today. So you will get an email with a link to view this webinar online. Before I begin, here's a quick note that you should only base your purchasing decisions on products and services that are currently available. And with that, I'd like to kick things off by introducing your host today. We have myself, Amanda. I am a senior solutions consultant on the Desk.com professional services team, and I have here with me Elaine Sung, who is our resident Salesforce reporting expert. Elaine handles all of the reporting needs for our own internal team, so we are very fortunate to have her with us today. She'll be walking us through how reporting in Service Cloud works. Here's a quick look at our agenda for today. We'll kick things off with an overview of the differences between Desk and Service Cloud reporting. Elaine will then take us through the basics of reporting in Service Cloud, and she'll also demo how to build a few reports and turn them into a dashboard. We'll finish off the session with some Q&A. So if you have any questions that come up as you listen, please type them into the GoToWebinar questions panel and we'll get to them at the end. So you can access that questions panel from the GoToWebinar control. It should be on the right-hand side of your screen. So to get us started, let's take a look at how reporting in Service Cloud is different from Desk Business Insights. While Desk Business Insights offers great canned reports to get you up and running quickly, like the agent report, your macros report, companies report, all those great pre-made reports, Service Cloud offers you custom reporting capabilities on top of the Salesforce platform, so you can really access and leverage data from all parts of your organization. So you still have the option of using pre-made reports and dashboards through the power of the Salesforce App Exchange, where you can just download, pre-made reports and dashboards. But in Service Cloud, you can also build your own from scratch. And by doing so, you can ensure that you're seeing the exact numbers you need to understand how your business is doing. Service Cloud reporting also allows you to collaborate with team members and share your reports across teams, as well as schedule reports to be refreshed and sent to you on a regular basis. So now in Service Cloud, you do have the ability to schedule those reports and receive them refreshed in your email inbox as often as you'd like to see them. Ultimately, you really do get a lot more control and flexibility with reporting when you move from Desk to Service Cloud. I'd like to share some common service and support related reports you might think about building in Service Cloud. These are all probably reports that you've thought about before if you manage a support team. A case volume by channel report would show you how many cases you have coming in by email versus web versus phone. An open cases by status report would show you how many unresolved cases are in new versus open versus pending. And a lot of teams focus on understanding their agent team's productivity. So some agent productivity reports, such as resolved cases by agent or average time to close, would show you which agents are resolving the most cases and how much time they're spending on their cases on average. These are just a few examples of what information you have the power of gathering through Service Cloud reporting. All of these reports can be installed through the Service and Support Dashboards App Exchange package. And if you've downloaded or signed up for a Desk to Service Cloud trial, you will already have them in your trial instance. So we've actually preloaded those dashboards and reports into your trial. But today, Elaine will be walking us through how to create a couple of them from scratch. And now I'll hand it off to our reporting expert, Elaine, who will take us through the mechanics of reporting in Service Cloud.
Hi, everyone. Before I jump into the demo, I want to review how reports and dashboards are structured within Service Cloud. Reports are structured by report type: tabular, summary, and matrix. Some functionality within reports includes equations, field bucketing, filter logic, cross filters, and charts within reports. Moving to dashboards, multiple reports can be displayed in a dashboard. You can set running users, which determine the data which is displayed on a user's security settings. Each report added to a dashboard is called a component. You can also add global filters to your dashboard to filter all components at once. Now let's jump into our demo. All right, so right now we're looking at the Lightning Service Console. This is the case view that you may have seen in other Desk to Service webinars. At the moment, we're looking at a list of our cases that have been recently viewed. Let's imagine I'm a support manager, and I want to see how Brenda is doing on case number 1497. So I'm going to click into the case and click on Details. I see that the status is still equal to new, and it doesn't look like Brenda has responded yet. As a support manager, I want to see a holistic view of other cases that are in new status and assigned to any of my support managers. So at this point, I'm thinking about creating a report to give me that information. To start building reports, we're going to navigate to the reports object. There are multiple ways to get there, but today we're going to go to the left-hand side of our screen and click on the drop-down next to cases. About halfway down, we're going to click on Reports. Now that we're in the Reports object, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, you have options of how to view your reports, such as recently viewed, created by me, or by folder. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see 3 buttons: New Report in Classic, and New Folder. We're going to click on New Report in Classic. Note that every time you open a new window, a new tab appears in the pop-up. This allows you to quickly move between windows within the console. Now that we've clicked on the New Report button, we'll be taken to this screen, which will allow you to choose which object you want to report on. To the left, you'll see a list of objects. If you click one, you'll be able to preview some of the fields that will be displayed in the report. If you know which field you like to report on, you can type it in the quick find bar. Today, we will be creating 2 reports: open cases by status and open and close cases by rep. These are both based off of the cases object. So we're going to look for cases in this list. It's not readily available, so let's go to the quick find bar and type in cases. Underneath customer support reports, we're going to click on cases. Now we're going to click Create, which is on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Now that we're in the report builder, this is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time creating and customizing your reports. Let's go through each of the different sections and understand how to use them. On the left-hand side, you'll see all the object fields you're able to report on. As we saw on the previous page, there's a quick find bar where you can type to locate the field you want to report on. You also have the option of scrolling down the list to see what's available. Over on the top section of the fields list, you'll see 4 buttons. These 4 buttons allow you to filter which fields appear in the fields list. For example, if you want to report on a date field, you can click on this calendar icon to see only date fields. You also have the option of number fields and text fields. While this is helpful in narrowing down the fields listed, I prefer to filter by all and simply type in the name of the field. After you find the field you want to filter on, simply drag it into the filters pane to the right. Since we will be creating an open cases by status report, let's type in the word open in the quick find bar to find cases that have the Boolean field open set to true. Under the case information section, click and drag open into the filters pane. Now that the open field is able to be filtered on, we're going to click on the magnifying glass, select true, and insert selected. From there, click OK. Now that we have a field to filter on, let's check out the other capabilities in the filters pane. Starting from the top of this gray area, next to filters, you'll see an add button. This dropdown will allow you to do 4 things. Add filter fields, other than dragging from the fields list. Add filter logic, once you've added more than one filter. Add a cross filter, which allows you to transverse across related objects. And add a row limit to your report results. Below filters is show. This allows you to specify which cases you want to see. All cases versus my cases. This filter is set up by the role hierarchy when you're setting up Service Cloud. To the right of filters, units, allows you to customize in what time unit you like to view your case data. Options include minutes, hours, and days. We're going to keep it in hours for now. The last row, date field, allows you to choose the date field you like to filter your report on. From the date field, select the date range. You have relative date ranges, such as this fiscal year or this month, and a custom option where you can select the beginning and end dates to filter on. To sum up, the filters pane is where you will add and customize your field filters. Below the filters pane is a preview pane, where your data will appear as you start adding your filters. Before we jump into viewing your report, you'll notice there are no records showing. Yet, if you look at the gray row, grand total, it says 41 records. On the top of the preview pane, towards the middle of the screen, you'll see a gray row that currently shows tabular format, show, and remove all columns. We're going to click on show and click details. Now that pre-populates the fields here. You can add and remove fields by clicking and dragging them to and from the preview. The first report we will be creating today is Open Cases by Status. Since we already have cases filtered by open, let's bring status into the report. We're going to navigate to the quick find bar and type in status. We're going to click and drag it into the preview pane. And let's also bring in a few other fields that might be helpful, such as priority, case origin, and case ID. Note that you can also double-click on the field in the fields list to bring it into the preview pane. All right, now we have the fields we need. Let's learn about the different ways you can view your data by using report formats. To change your current report format, we're going to click on the button that says Tabular, which brings a dropdown of 3 different report formats. Tabular, the one we're currently in, is good if you want to see raw, ungrouped data, or if you plan to export it into Excel to analyze. Summary format allows you to group and summarize by up to 3 fields. Matrix acts like a pivot table and allows you to group by rows and columns. I use this report most often as I find it visually easiest to read. To the left is where you can bring the fields to group by row, and the top is where you bring fields to group by column. We're going to stay in Matrix for our open cases by status report. As a support manager, this report will give you a holistic view of your agent's caseload and how they're progressing. Now, we already brought status into the preview, so let's click and drag it into the row grouping. Now we'll click Show again and click Details. And now you'll see a condensed report view of the number of cases in each status type. I'm also interested in finding out how these cases are divided by rep. So I'm going to pull in case owner into the row grouping as well. To do so, I'm going to navigate to my fields list and search for case owner. Right under case information, we have case owner, so we're going to click and drag it right in front of status. Now you'll see that Brenda has 6 cases, she's working 3, one of them's new, and she has 2 others in other statuses. Now let's save this report in the top left side of this report builder. We're going to name this report Open Cases by Status and Rep. The report unique name will auto-generate. And I recommend adding a report description, especially as you build more complex reports and the report name isn't as self-explanatory. Here you can select which folder you want to save your report in. Every report is stored in a folder. The default is My Custom Reports, which is private. You control who has access to the contents of the folder based on roles, permissions, public groups, and license type. You can also choose to save it in a shared team folder. For example, a marketing folder where the entire marketing team has access to. You can create similar folders for ops, sales, or support. Today, let's add this report to the Service Executive Reports folder. Click Save. And now run report. Here you'll see the total number of cases is 41, and the details of the report below. To the right of the screen, you'll see a variety of links. The first one, Toggle Chart, allows you to add a chart to the report. The filter next to it, Filters, brings out the list of filters applied to this report. You can edit the current filters directly from this pane. Collaborate allows you to share and chat with people on this report. You can also refresh the report for the latest data. And this gear sign allows you to add details to the report, add subtotals or grand totals. Edit will bring you back to the report builder. A feature support managers often find helpful is Subscribe. By clicking the drop-down, you can find Subscribe about halfway down the drop-down. The Subscribe feature will send you an email of the report at a predefined frequency. For example, as a support manager, I want to know my rep's open caseload by the end of every day. I'm going to click daily for frequency. And time, we're going to set it to 6 p.m. I'm only going to send the report to myself, and I want the report data from my point of view as well. Once you click Save, you'll receive a refreshed report by email. Now we've created a report to see our open cases by status and rep, and we've also subscribed to it. The next metric we'd like to see as a support manager is how many cases our support reps are closing. Now, opposed to creating a new report from scratch, we're going to work off the report we just created. So we're going to click on the drop-down on the right-hand side of the screen and click Edit in Salesforce Classic. As a best practice, we're going to click Save As to make sure that we don't overwrite our current report. We're going to rename this report Closed Cases by Status and Rep. The unique name auto-generates, and we're going to add a description. Once again, we're going to save this report in our Service Executives report folder. Click Save. Now, to update our report to show only closed, we're going to update our current open field in the filters pane to not equal to true. So we're going to hover over the filter and click Edit. Click the drop-down next to equals and click Not Equal To. Click OK. Now you'll see the preview pane has been updated to show only closed cases by rep. We're going to click Save and Run Report. Now you'll see we have 51 closed cases, and Brenda and Tim have the most cases. Now that we have created our 2 reports to monitor our support metrics, it would be great if we can see them in one place instead of toggling between multiple reports. For that, we have dashboards. To create a dashboard, we're going to navigate back to the top drop-down arrow next to cases and find dashboards right underneath reports. Now we're in the dashboard object. You'll notice it's similar to the reports object where you have the option of how you want to view your dashboards. Recently viewed, created by me, or by folder. To create a dashboard, we're going to go to the right-hand side of our screen and click New Dashboard. Now we'll add a name for this dashboard. Let's call it Webinar Support Metrics. Enter description. Choose which folder you want this dashboard in, and click Create. Here's the blank canvas where you'll begin to create your dashboard. A dashboard is a visual display of key metrics and is comprised of components. For each dashboard component, there is a single underlying report. To add a component, let's go to the top right of the screen and click the blue button Component. Similar to when you enter the Reports or Dashboards object, you'll see a list of your recent reports. Let's click the first report on the list, Closed Cases by Status and Rep. Click Select. This widget allows you to customize how your component will be displayed on your dashboard. You have the option to change chart types. Choose which values you like to display. And you can slice by case owner or status. Let's click Show Percentages and Show Values as well. And you also have the option to add footers or subtitles or change your title. Now we're going to click Add on the bottom right-hand side of the widget. And we've just created our first component. Let's add our second support metric, Open Cases by Status. Click Add Component and click the second report down the list. And click Select. Now for this component, let's choose the stacked column chart. That way we can see the different open statuses of cases by rep. You have the option to choose which field to show on the y-axis and which field to stack by. Let's see if there's any other customizations we want to add. And click Add. Every component added is automatically added to the bottom left column. To move it to the middle, we're going to click and drag it to the middle of the dashboard. Now that we added our components, let's review the other customization options that are available in the dashboard. Starting from the left, clicking on this pencil allows you to change the name of the dashboard. We used the Add Component button earlier when we added the 2 report charts below. You can create a filter for the dashboard, which filters through each component. Undo and redo changes. This gear button is similar to the one we saw in the report, where you can change the dashboard properties, and you can also set a running user. A running user is available in every report and dashboard. Actually, it's every dashboard. By setting a running user, you determine whose security settings will show in the report or dashboard. When you set the running user as a specific person, all users viewing the dashboard will see the same data based on that specific person's security settings, regardless of their own. This approach is good for sharing big picture metrics across the hierarchy. You can also set a dynamic dashboard, which is the dashboard viewer option here. A dynamic dashboard will run using the security settings of the user viewing the dashboard. An example of when you'd use a dynamic dashboard is if we created a dashboard for support agents to monitor their own productivity. You also have the option to change the color scheme. Let's click one of these just for fun and click Save. You'll see that the color scheme of your components changed. Now to save this dashboard, we're going to click Save. Wait for the green pop-up to appear, then click Done. Now we've created our first dashboard together. Now before I show you some cool features to analyze and collaborate on your data, let's see an example of a fully built dashboard. Let's go back to the dashboards object, click on the drop-down next to Cases, and click Dashboards. The second row down, we're going to click on Service Executive Dashboard. You'll see this dashboard has a lot of components, such as cases by channel, quality score, and agent. It also has filters, as we saw earlier when we were creating our dashboard. You can also follow this dashboard, which will allow you to get alerts and chatter posts when changes are made to the dashboard. You can subscribe, which will give you email snapshots of your data, and refresh. Edit will bring you back to edit this dashboard. And we know collaboration is very important to support teams. And with Service Cloud, you're able to chatter your team members directly on records. So let's say I created this dashboard to monitor our support team, and I want to share it with Amanda. I would click on this speech bubble next to follow. Chatter will open up from the right, and within the box that says share an update, we're going to click into it and mention Amanda. Click share. And now Amanda gets a notification that she's been mentioned on this dash, and she can respond by adding her own comments. Chatter is great to understand the history of the case. For example, if a case was transferred to you and you want to be able to understand which team members have touched this case or the conversation leading up to it being transferred to you, check Chatter. This feature is available in reports as well. Now moving to the dashboard components, at the bottom of every component is a little link that will take you to the source report. On the top of each component is a little X sign, where when you click it, it'll give you an expanded version of this one component. This is great if you have a ton of components on your dashboard, or if you want to zoom in and drill into your data. For example, we see phone had the most cases by channel. Let's drill into that some more. Now you're brought to a filtered report with only cases that came in through phone. Let's get back to our dashboard and exit out of this component. Now that we've walked you through creating reports and dashboards in Service Cloud, I'm going to pass it to Amanda to tell you more about additional learning resources.
All right, thanks for that great demo, Elaine. We want to share some resources with you. So again, this PowerPoint will be sent to you following our webinar today, so you'll be able to access all of these links from your own computer. We've got a few really great trailheads that are free on Trailhead today, and they are focused on desk.com to Service Cloud transitions. So they're all around getting you ready to make your plan and plan out your migration from desk to Service Cloud. We've also got some accelerators to help you with that implementation. If you have, or if you do decide to get onto Service Cloud and you purchase a Premier Plus Success Plan, you can get access to one of those accelerators. Keep checking our webinar calendar underneath events, and that'll constantly show you all of our new and upcoming webinars. We are constantly creating new content to help you guys explore Service Cloud more. And finally, we have a ton of additional resources, including articles on our support center, a lightning benefits guide, and customer success stories for you to read up on other customers that have successfully made that transition.